Hey guys, welcome to Ben Wrenchin. My name is Ben, and today I'm wrenching on this 2002 Ford Ranger XLT. I'm at the tail end of replacing spark plugs and wires for this truck, and while I've got it, I'm gonna go ahead and do an oil change. So I figured I'd show you guys how I do it. I've got oil in a filter, and this won't take too long. I've got the engine warm because I just drove it around to test my work on the spark plugs. This truck is running super smooth, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off the oil cap, and I'll hop under it, and we'll get the oil changed. It's got a 16mm drain plug, so I've got my 16mm socket, got my new filter, a filter wrench, a drain plug removal tool that makes it a little bit easier, and I've even got a new crush washer in case it's got one of those. So I'll slide all that in my oil pan underneath the truck. I'll loosen up the drain plug with the ratchet. There we go. And now it's loose enough that it'll come off with this magnet tool. There we go, I'll let the oil drain and I'll get the oil filter off at the same time. Looking down from the top of the engine, I can see the blue oil filter right there. So it may be easier to reach from the top, but the position that it's in, I need to move my drain pan to get underneath it. So I'll have to wait for this oil to stop dripping. This drain plug does not have a crush washer, so I'll just clean it up with some brake cleaner. And it looks like it's in good shape, so I'll go ahead and put it back in. I'll get it started, and then once the oil stops dripping, I can move the drain pan and then tighten it up with the ratchet. Wipe off this oil pan while I'm down here. And I always move my catch pan out of the way while I'm tightening this down. That way if I drop my socket, I don't drop it in the old oil. And this drain plug gets torqued down to 20 to 27 Newton meters. There we go. So I've got my catch pan right where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the oil filter with my filter pliers. And that's coming off real easy, which is nice. And I'm gonna hop underneath and take it off the rest of the way by hand. And that was pretty easy to reach underneath. I didn't have a lot of mess because I think it was pretty low on oil. This didn't hardly leak any oil, which was nice. But now I can match it up with the filter I got and make sure that they're the same size. I got a Wix XP filter because I really like these Wix filters. It's just a little bit taller, but the O-ring's the same size, so we're good there. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on the O-ring, and you can pre-fill this filter if you want to. I never do if it's at an angle like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this. I can actually reach in here through the wheel well and get this installed because I can see it right here. So that's a nice feature. I guess it made it easy because that wheel shroud was already off a little bit. But I'll just go ahead and tighten this down as much as I can by hand. All right, there we go. That's pretty tight. And it calls for 4.2 quarts. So I'll just fill this up. And I always stop about halfway and get under the truck and just make sure that there's nothing leaking from either the drain plug or the oil filter. All right, and with all the oil in there, I can put the fill cap back on. And now I'll run the truck for a little bit and then I'll double check the oil level. So I'll start the truck and let it run for a couple seconds. Double check and make sure there's no oil leaking. And then I'll let it sit for about 10 minutes and then I'll double check the oil level and make sure it looks good. And the dipstick is over here on the driver's side near where the oil filter is. So I'll pull this out and clean it off. Put it back in, seat it down all the way, and then pull it back out. And I can see that the oil level is right in the center of the hash marks, which is good. That means the level is good and we're all done. So I just want to make sure I pull everything out from underneath the truck. I'll put the old oil into a container, and you can take your old oil to any auto parts store. They'll usually recycle oil for free. And I always write an X on the cap of my used oil to make sure that I don't mix it up with my new oil. And then I throw it in the corner of my garage and let it sit for a year. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you that. All right, and that's it. So I'm done with the oil change. I'll link everything I used in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you in the next video.